like you. I'm still paying my dues, and I'm coming up in the game. But you used to drive me crazy because you raised me, and I felt like I said, "What the hell is wrong with BOBBITO? Why you don't come just kind of come hang out?" Then Cotty was telling me. Then you came up and told me your lady, you have to take a lot of health precautions. You know what I mean? So then I understood. At first, I was like, I was gonna heat you up, Bob. I was gonna heat you. I was like, let me go find Bobby, the Puerto Rico. I grew up with that. The first guy who put a basketball on my hand, and I didn't even know what the hell I was doing, and I'm gonna learn this game. And I was unorthodox as hell. So I said to myself, and you said it too. You knew it. He ain't gonna jump off 1 or 2 steps. He's gonna jump off a vertical of everything. But one thing we got going for him: no one's gonna outwork him.
Yeah. No.
No, you said that, Bob?
Listen, I'll say that to this day. And let me tell people, in 1981, I wrote about this in my memoir, BOBBITO's book, A B-Ball Bong Bong. And then you mentioned in it, Craig Batchelor, Eric McCarty, Mike Parker, Carlos Arias, all of y'all on that Central Baptist squad. That I was asked to be coach of at age 15. So it was new. It was Eric McCarty told me that I was his first coach, and you're telling me the same.
Yeah, I had no clue.
I had never really coached, but I had a love for the game. And Pastor Don, who was the director, he clearly saw that passion in me, and he saw those leadership skills. So he said, "Yo, why don't you lead the 11 and under, the biddy squad?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And from that day, Gary, listen to today, I have no doubt about your ability to succeed in anything you do, because even back then, your work ethic was worthy, bro.
Thanks, man.
All through Ray Diaz, all through the Nike 3-on-3, when you, Kirk, Rodriguez, Tone Greer, Thirsty took the NYC chip, all the Ray Diaz chips.
Oh, BOBBITO, I'm glad you said that, because my friend doesn't really know how good I am. He keep telling him, man. Bob, I told him we were ballers, man.
Greer and Kurt said he was high.
They joke. They like to joke. And BOBBITO, you would tell them all this joking we hear in this world, Steve-O, Jadakiss, everybody, BOBBITO, how they're really good at ball and I have to pay them. None of them, Bob, will tell you they could outsnap me, because I've been into missions and stuff. But tell how we still joking on hood, Bob.
Well, so the whole thing was, we play ball and play ball hard, then this the cool down was not really the cool down. The cool down was a heat session. We'd be on 98th Street. Right in front of the telephone booth. The payphones and whatnot. We wouldn't be inside the park. We'd be really like in the. What building was that? That red building,
765.
765. Yeah, we'd be like in the little stoop area of 765, and I have clear memories of that. Just snapping for like 2 hours and just praying that you're not the go-to.
You're praying. But I knew that I
was go-to. You gonna catch it for like a good 2 hours. Like that's just what it was, and you just stand there. And you try to come back, but no, when you got 5-6 dudes that can snap and they all going at you, oh yeah, Bob, your hairline is, and you bob your nose and bob your sneakers and bob your socks.
They used to kill me too, but we used to go at it. But Bob, I'm gonna pop my shit. Yo, we're all better ball playing me. Like I said, I work, but the one thing I ain't gonna give you, Craig, they'll bow down. Kirk says Gary is the king snap of Amsterdam because he has says shit that don't make no sense. Yeah. Bob, I remember half the jokes, Bob. I'd be rich, Bob.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of those jokes wouldn't be funny out of context.
Yeah.
But it's when you got the audience and everybody's just laughing. So this is my favorite moment of Gary. Right?
So many of them with you.
The radio show. Me and Stretch had a radio show. For those who don't know, 89.9 FM. WKCR is affectionately known as 89 Tech 9. Right. It was a monumental program in hip hop's history. Right. We used to invite Gary and Tone Greer, to come up and snap.
Yeah, just have fun. This kind of shit.
And we would have real comedians up in there, like Artie Fuqua and I forget the other dude's name, and dudes that do well and stand up and and beyond. And Gary would just, he would smoke these dudes, man. Like
bad.
And then one time Gary told Artie that his mom's had a rotten plum on our belt buckle.
Oh yeah. We was
A
wild,
rotten
y'all,
plum.
yeah.
Yo, it made no sense.
no
But
sense, but at the time, you're like,
at
what the fuck?
4:15 a.m. when we already laughing for 45 minutes, and Gary said, "Yo, your mom got a rotten plum for a belt buckle." Yo,
and they be mad. They be like, "Yo, what the
that's
hell?"
still the funniest snap I think I ever heard in my life. I laughed.
Yo,
in context.
The
Exactly.
context, yeah, it's the context. Plus, Gary got a big face and he looked bugged out. So when he says stuff, it's like, wait, it's if anybody else says it, won't be as funny, But yeah,
Yo,
it's his
Bob.
intonation, and he got the saliva on the corner of his lip. Looking
I think you're trying to throw little cheap sheets on me. I think you said too many, Bob. Fuck you trying to say.
There's a legendary video.
Oh, hold on, Ron. Bob. I know one thing. You have children, you have a kid, you have a son, you have a wife, but still there's something you don't have. It's called toothpaste. Your shit is still yellow crazy. What the fuck is
I'm working on it, Gary. I'm working on it.
But hold up, because it's gonna turn into some bullshit, and we ain't gonna get this no work done. Wait till a little later, man. Let's try to get some work done, then we gonna have some crazy fun. But seriously,
okay. I'm with it. But but listen, I do want to mention, like, your face doesn't look as big as it used to. Like,
yeah, I lost weight, but I lost weight. You got it, Rob. You got it.
You lost weight?
I lost like 45 pounds. Look, I lost crazy.
Yeah, he looks amazing.
But it's not just. I mean, even when you were 11 and 12 years old, you still had a big head. Like, but what did you do? An operation or something?
Yo, Bob, all right, man. Listen, man. I want to tell y'all. People, y'all ain't gonna listen to this shit. Bob's an asshole like me. Well, I had a male stroke January 18th, and Bob, I'm being serious. No. I want just a good point. He was the guy. We were all younger, but we was getting old, and we was becoming men. So Bob became our Uncle OG Puerto Rican, but we all drank and smoked and got fucked up for years. Bob never touched nothing. And Bob told me why. Bob, am I right? Bob told me his father was alcoholic. And Bob said, I didn't want no parts of it. G, I'm not judging y'all. I still love y'all. Yeah. I just don't do it. Judgment. Remember, Bob? Yeah. You said your father, you said it was a real bad time with your dad. You didn't like it. I said, oh, shit. So, Bob, just to say, I got sick, Bob. I'm not saying that's the main thing, but it had things to do with, in my opinion. And I stopped. And, Bob, I'm thinking better, which I've always been smart. I work harder than you know me, Bob. So I just want to let you know that was the best move you made, not falling victim. That shit is the quiet poison. I had to say the truth. I'm not judging y'all people, but I gotta keep it real, man. You're better off without drinking. I could deal with smoking, but drinking, that shit is not, it's unheard of.
Well, one of the questions was, how do you stay so active at 59? I guess he just answered the question for us. You didn't drink, you played a lot of ball.
Yeah, what else? I mean, Ron, it's been a lifetime commitment, and people, look at me as like this, hip hop legend and, iconic in the sneaker world. But, first and foremost, and I drove this point home in my memoir, BOBBITO's book of BOBBITO Bang Bang. I'm a ball player first and foremost. Before any of that, I'm a ball player, and I've always been a ball player. It's not like I chose hip hop in the 90s and stopped being no, I was still playing like all the time. Still running in tournaments, still traveling, DJ gigs overseas. I got my ball sometimes, or I got my, my ball kicks. I'm playing wherever I go. And so I've always, because I started coaching at age 15, and I started training kids when I left Def Jam in 1993, right? I was really faced with a dilemma. I wasn't making much money. I was freelancing back in 93. Nowadays people are like, oh, I'm a multi-hyphenate, whatever. Like, I had to figure stuff out in 93. So I used the radio show as a platform to promote myself. I'm like, yo, I could give one-on-one sessions. How like nowadays, like everybody's a trainer, they're out there with the cones. And I was doing that in 93. And my calling card was the radio show. So I used to get high school kids and college players to meet me, and they would pay me. Their parents would pay me, and I would train them. Just like I used to train Gary Gnu and Mike Parker and Carlos Arias at the GOAT back in the 81, 82. That's always been me. So anyway, my point is that I was never nice. You know, Gary Clark was like the child prodigy of the Upper West Side. We thought he was going to wind up in the pros.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
Mike Parker was like playing at Riverside when he was like 13. Like,
Yeah, I
you know,
never got to play them boys.
This is why I love Gary so much, because me and
All that
Gary
the hood.
kind of come from the same stance. I'm going to outwork any of them.
Yes, that's why I knew it. I
Right.
had to.
And so to get any type of advantage as a ball player, mentally, physically, spiritually, I had to understand the game more than anybody else. I had to read about the game more than anybody else. I had to live the game more than anybody else. So, you know, I remember being at a movie theater to see what film. It was the 84th Street Lowe's. And this is before they split
still
it up.
there. It's still there,
before they split it up into a multiplex. It was just one theater.
Okay.
Right. And I'm in there, and I was playing for Douglas in the Holcomb Rucker Memorial. And I got my purple Holcomb Rucker Memorial t-shirt. It was like eggplant, like, you know, you get the summer league shirt and it smell, you still smell the screen print. And I was in the row, and there's a bunch of kids from uptown that, you know, saw me with the Rucker shirt, and they're like, he ain't a ball player, whatever. But it was like, I wore my tournament shirts like a badge. Like, I wanted everybody to know that I play ball. Anyway, full circle is that because I wasn't particularly fast or couldn't jump or none of that, I had to take my whole lifestyle towards, okay, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to smoke. And again, like Gary said, there's people who smoke that it has no effect. Everybody has different bodies, everybody has different, you know, but I just wanted to like just stay as clear-headed as I could to really focus, zero in on goals of mine, which was to play pro, which I did. I played in Puerto Rico in one season. You know, I played overseas in various tournaments and, you know, exhibition games, and I've done clinics in Africa and Brazil, and I mean in Asia. You know, I've done a lot with ball, and it's all in my memoir. You know, because a lot of people don't know me for that. Some people know me for NBA Street Volume 2 video game. Oh, he's the announcer, I know that, but I have a whole 40, 50 years of dedication to a sport. But anyway, the bottom line is I always try to just be at peace with myself, with my mind, body, and soul. Yeah. And I'm 59 now. I was running hills this morning. You know, I got on my stationary bike afterwards. You know, and now, you know, you needed me for the interview, and I'm here.
Just like that, active.
Yeah.
You break my heart. I know you love basketball. I love hip hop.
Yeah. To get into it, Ron, he wants to say, like, Bob, I just got to say a little more about Bob. Yo, you said, like, then I got older, Bob. You was 25, I was 20, 21. This now, Bob is playing with us. We fucking nice. We nice. What's up? So Bob, of course, Bob got to get down. He's something star, but Bob got real good with tricks. And Rob, and I remember one game, Bob, we was in a war. You was on our team. We was playing some real good. I was playing. And I'm like, Bob plays tricks. Bob knows I have a vertical jump. I don't have skills to do 1, 2, and lay the ball up. So I'm like, Bob. So Bob, Ron, we got the fast break. Bob got the ball. Bob got, I'm about to lay the shit out this motherfucker. Bob does some more trickery shit, gives me the ball in a bad situation, and I turn the ball over, and we need that basket. I think me and Bob argue for 5-10 minutes, and I say, yo, Bob, listen, I don't give a fuck. I respect you, man. Give me the fucking ball so I can go up and lay the nigga. He said, all right, Gary. All right, Gary. I just had to say that, Bob. You know I had a difficult game. You had to give it to me the way I need it. And I'm going to finish and Bob, you know, I'm going to rebound. I'm going to play hard for you. But you got to give me the ball where I need it so I can do my job.
Yeah.
This is a funny motherfucker. Ron, because Ron talks about your tricks. Bob, you had a lot of tricks. You used to drive us crazy with your tricks.
We sat here debating before you got on here if you could. We had you in a matchup. We had you in a matchup against Messiah West 4th Street.
Bob.
You know the Messiah of West 4th Street?
Yeah.
I'm not impressed, Bob. I'm not impressed.
He's not impressed.
I'm not impressed with Messiah.
He butchers, so I wasn't impressed.
That's not basketball, Bob. That's not basketball.
I hear you. Yeah, he's a butcher.
You like him? You like him, Bob?
He's a butcher.
Bob, prime, I would have bust his ass in my prime. 25. So you think that shit? He pushing your face. He's doing all types of shit. That's not bad. I would just say I'm not playing no more.
Yeah. I gotta say that, you know, I support the fact that he's bringing a lot of attention to outdoor basketball, particularly 1v1. He's got a lot of followers. He's got influence. He does a lot of things for kids. You know that he's like a really nice person off the court. When he gets on the court though, and he's playing one-on-ones, he's screaming and yeah. I mean, that's not, you know, I love basketball a lot. I'm not into all the rah rah. You know, I never really been. You know, I like doing like Gary said, I like doing my tricks. I like shooting my threes, and I like playing hard. I like competition, but I like fun competition. That to me, that's not fun competition.
You don't want to get hurt.
Yeah. Nah.
Bob. As tough as I am, Bob, I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't say your game is over. They show me some clippers. He's getting back. He's pushing you. He's pushing your face. Get the fuck out of here. That ain't basketball.
Yeah.
Stupid. I curse him out. Anyway, Bob, let me talk about you. I'm gonna go with the interview. People don't give enough respect to the Rock State part. Let's get some of your big stories always on the Rock State part with the experience that you had with them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, for those who don't know, Rocksteady is an organization that's existed since 1977. It was founded in the Bronx, actually, by Jimmy Lee and Jimmy D. You know, Crazy Legs, Ken Swift, Kodiaki, Doze. They're all like later add-on, you know, members.
But those from our hood, Bob.
Right, exactly. Right. So blanking on his name from 92nd Street, Frosty, you know, Frosty.
Yeah, Frosty.
You know, yes. Frosty Freeze. All those dudes are from our block, you know, from our neighborhood, right? Yeah. And they wind up taking Rocksteady, winds up taking breaking to another level because they got exposure on, you know, on national TV, local TV first on ABC, dancing at Lincoln Center, then national TV, then they were the first hip hop tour. But the beauty of it is that their headquarters were at PS 163 Playground, which is also known to the basketball world as the GOAT, right? And so to the hip hop world, they call it Rocksteady Park. To the basketball world, call it the GOAT. And so it's a rare occasion where like there's two separate communities recognizing one location for its greatness, but with different names, you know. And then there's people like myself and people like, you know, who grew up there that are kind of like part of both worlds. You know, I got my foot in Rocksteady because I became a member in 91. I wasn't a member in the 80s. I didn't dance and nothing like that. I just played ball. But when I started doing a radio show, you know, Legs kind of brought me into the fold because he knew that I had the audience with Stretch to promote when we started doing events and brought back the Rocksteady Crew anniversaries to the park. You know, we wound up having like 4,000, 5,000 people there from all over the world, right there in the softball field behind the courts, you know, and that's where I would see, you know, Woody, who used to play. Woody was the only one of the Rocksteady who would actually play ball, you know. Ken Swift would shoot around sometimes, not really. But Woody would play 3-on-3s with me, play 21 with me, but he was an official member. You know, so there was that like sort of exchange, you know, but it was great to see them by the swings on the rubber mats. And then a lot of people don't notice, but the whole phenomena of linoleum starts because the furniture store was right there next to Carvel and to the pizza shop.
And the chicken store, 50 cents pieces.
Yeah. So they had the furniture store. And they used to put the garbage out in the back. And, you know, they would have big boxes. And so Legs and Ken and Doze and all them started taking the boxes and being like, yo, instead of trying to break on the rubber mats or the asphalt, they started breaking on the boxes. And then they were like, oh, this linoleum, we could spin better on this. And then that the whole phenomenon starts right there at 99th Street in Amsterdam. So which is crazy because at the same time, you got Earl Manigault, a.k.a. the GOAT.
That was my man. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah, who winds up getting a film made about his life called Rebound, you know, starring Don Cheadle on HBO or Showtime, whatever it was. You know, and Earl is there on a daily basis too. So, you know, when I wrote in my memoir, BOBBITO's book of B-Ball Bong Bong, about my early teens being at PS 163, the GOAT, aka Rocksteady, it's like, yo, no wonder, no surprise how my life turns out to be like this basketball hip hop blossom of dedication. Cause it's like, yo, I'm experiencing it on a daily basis right in front of my face. It's not like I'm reading about it overseas or I'm getting it secondhand. It's like I'm right there, you know?
Wow.
And so that for me, I always took it like a responsibility, Ron. Like when I got on the radio and transitioned from like I'm a hip hop head to I'm actually a public figure, I took that responsibility with me to, okay, I'm going to raise up all these names and these histories and the folklore and the legends when I get a chance, you know, as a writer, as an author, as a documentarian, as a filmmaker, as a radio personality. Eventually, I become a TV personality on ESPN. And, you know, throughout my whole career, you know, 2025, been in public space for 35 years now. You know, I've always just been like pointing the finger like, yo, this is, you know, check out this woman, you know, who contributed this, or check, even in my memoir, it's supposed to be about me. I write about Corky Ortiz. I write about who Mr. Holcomb Rucker was. You know, I write about being teammates with Ali Mo and what that meant. I write about what it meant being teammates or playing against Future and Speedies. I write about, I'm bigging up all these people, even though I should be bigging up myself. But it's like, that's just how I'm built, you know? And even like, you know, I start the show, I'm talking about how high respect I have for Gary as one of my players. Was the first time I was a coach 45 years ago, you know, but that's just how I am. I give thanks, I give respect. And I think that's why people all these years have, you know, I just launched a clothing brand this week, you know, and I'm getting people hitting me up. Yo, I cop like, you know, 3 t-shirts and 2 shorts, yo, because you've done so much for the culture, anything for you, Bob. You know, it's like I've built that sort of.
Where can we get it at?
What clothing line did you lose? Why'd you lose it?
No,
he just
launched. I launched.
Oh, launched. I heard you said launched.
He teased it for about like a month or two.
So it's exclusively at an online shop called bucketsandbaskets.com. You can go to my website, coolboblove.com. That's spelled with a K. And the links to bucketsandbaskets.com is all there. Or just do a search for BOBBITO's clothing brand. Or go to my Instagram, coolboblove. You know, I got discount codes on the bio and all that stuff. So yeah, but you know, I mean, listen, I have cultural currency at this point globally, you know, and I've earned that, right? But it's not just because people, you know, are like, oh, Bob, help put me on or whatever. It's like, yo, nah, like I've given back 80-fold, you know. So, you know, it comes back. It comes back. My Karma debit card, as one of my homies told me, is
he's stupid.
Is nice and full. It's got a lot of credit on it.
Mm-hmm.
This funny thing to you saying that I just got to keep talking about. I be turning around. I grew up with you, Eli, Mario Ellie, all you guys. I don't know what it is. I'm not like how Bob thinking. They just liked me. So Mario liked me. The GOAT liked me. All the OGs in the project, the tough guy, the shooters, the drug. Yeah. I don't care who they were. They just liked us, Bob. Kirk, me, Grid. And just embrace me. I didn't have a father, Bob. I had a good mother. But you know, Bob, how your mother is. They have to work hard to pay the rent and make sure their kids survive. You know? So we were busy. We were in the go. We play ball. Then we snap and we go home and wait for the next day. You know? It was important. important. Why you laughing? But we was our own community. Us. All we had is us.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of basketball as well. You know, it bonds people. You know, because it's not like you need much to play. You you don't even need a court. We used to be out on the sidewalk. You know, Gary, I'll be working on my ball handling. Like, yo, Gary, check out this new move. I'm thinking about, you know, trying to figure out. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's and then you win games and that bonds you. You lose games that bonds you. You know, or you just shooting around, just talking about, you know, the NBA or talking about a new movie. It's just like passing time. Like just. Ball was everything.
Basketball is my heart too. So
ball still is everything. You know, to me, like ball is everything. My life has taken a huge pivot, Ron.
Because of basketball.
You know, but basketball tethers me to my past, and it you know, it delivers me to my future. You know.
Okay. Explain FC 21 versus 5. Ron wants to know. Explain it more. I told him what it was, but you can tell him.
Yeah, he broke it down for me a little better. But
no doubt. So I'll give you a brief history. My brother Manny Maldonado, he runs the Chosen basketball tournament for kids, and that's my man. You know, he used to do an open run at in Harlem at the Boys Club, So I go down there one day, and before we go and run 5-on-5s, he's like, yo, we're going to warm up playing 21. And I'm like, word. I love 21. I ain't got to pass on nobody. I ain't got to blame nobody for not playing D. It's, every person for themselves, right? But he was like, yo, we're going to run it full court. And I took a double take. I was like, wow, all my decades of playing 21. I mean, I played one time at Mount Morris with like 15 dudes.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Your ball handling skills. That's just
we had enough for 5-on-5, but 21 is so much fun. We were just playing 21 with 15 dudes.
Yeah. Every man for themselves.
Right. But so Manny's like, yo, every change of possession, we're going to go the opposite direction. And it was a workout. And I was like, ding, light bulb. Everybody done 5-on-5s, 3-on-3s, 1-on-1s. I've hosted a lot of tournaments for decades. I was on a mic at the Pro-Am at Borough Manhattan Community College, dating back in 1983. That's the start of me as an announcer. This is 7 years before I get on the radio. I'm on the mic. 10 years before I'm doing Nike commercials, I'm on the mic at the Pro-Am. Walter Berry's playing. Bobby Jones, rest in peace, playing. So I thought, I was like, wow, like I could present 21 in an organized context because nobody's ever done it before. Nobody's ever done it. Added refs, scorekeepers, and tournament shirts, and we playing 21 full court. And it was an immediate hit in 2013. I came up with rules. Yo, no outs. You shoot an air ball from the free throw line, you go back to 0. I just took all the sort of cool, quirky rules from the hood, and I put it in an organized context, and it immediately took off. People love playing it. And then in 2015, it went international, Ron and Gary. I don't know if you know this, but to date, I've done it in like over 40 international locations. Last summer, I did it in 30 international locations.
I know it's that many states.
I saw them in Asia playing ball. They was in Asia.
Listen, this year in the men's final at the GOAT, the champ came from Tokyo.
Yeah, Kirk told me. Kirk and Greg told me.
And the last 5 winners before that in the men's category all were from Canada. You know, and the most a woman from Tokyo won that twice. I've had 2 Canadian winners in the women's category. So my tournament has actually been dominated by international players, which is amazes me because New York is like the capital for 21. This is what we do all the time.
Bro, that's how I got better. That's how I learned how to play basketball. A lot of my moves. Yeah.
Gary, I taught you a move. I don't know if you remember this.
I don't remember, but
I taught you a move. I said, Gary, you get double teamed a lot because your handle is shaky.
Yep.
Which is when you was young.
Yeah, it got better. My shit was crazy.
It got better.
Yeah,
but I told you, I said, look, when you get double teamed, when the dude goes for your left hand, put the ball behind your back.
I remember that. I remember.
Open your legs. Pop the ball between and push it to the front so that you can catch it with your right hand, and that's how you're gonna split the double team.
And that's one of my moves. That's one of my
that became your signature.
Remember that move?
That was your go-to?
I got good. I said, what?
He did that move. He went there, ain't nobody on him. Yeah. He have a breakaway. He still do the behind the back legs. I'm like, yo, Gary, ain't nobody going to you. In this moment, but whatever.
Yeah, Rob. Damn, Bob. We go way back because that became my move. They be like, yo, watch this ball up in leg. And Bob, the actual made him Girk, Bob. You knew it was gonna work for my offense because I was strong. You were strong, and then after that, what was it? It was the 2-hand clap. Smack. What?
I never seen Gary dunk, but yo, he would clap so hard on people.
That was my move. Yeah, Bob. Damn, Bob, you bring me back to old. Keep going, man. Make you mad, man. I wish I could play ball again, Bob.
You'd have to knock me over. You'd have to clap on me.
Yeah, Bob. You're right. We'll go. So, Bob, so the 21 became worldwide, and you just do it every summer. So those are championships all over the countries or the states. Like the last, how to get it to that point.
I've done FC 21, 1v5, right?
Yeah.
No teams, no teammates, no coaches, no subs. I've done it in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica. I've done it in the Bay Area, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Orlando.
That's all, Bob. You own it. No one can tell you anything.
It's my tournament.
You own it. Bob, I know you're not bagging. I'm not on that either. I just need to know, do you own what we're talking about? You're the man.
It's my tournament, B. I own the trademarks, everything. It's my rules.
That's crazy.
It's my concept. Now, what I do is I work with local organizers because I can't be in DC and Philly.
Yeah,
and
of course you
Boston.
can. Yeah,
I can't be in 15 cities in Japan. I
and
can't.
take care of your family.
We did
Yeah.
it in Beijing. We did it in Hong Kong. We did it in five. We do it in five cities in Canada. I've done it in Africa, bro. I've done it in Ghana and
Damn.
Mali. And it's just the
Amazing.
tip of the iceberg because when more people find out about, I've done it in the Philippines twice, in Manila, you know. So, but I work with local organizers. I give them rules. I'm like, yo, this is the concept, and then
Mhm.
I work with them. I hold their hand so that they produce a tournament because I can't travel to every place.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the winners from all around the world, they come to the GOAT on 9th in Amsterdam every summer. Kirk
Wow.
Rodriguez is on the mic,
My
and
boy.
we do the international, the best 1v5 player in the world.
Okay. Okay. I never
It's a
I
beautiful
never
thing.
knew that Ron that Bob ended like you. Okay. Well, that's an ill tournament. Right? I watched it like 2 summers ago. Ron, it's crazy. You got it's like Bob says, bunch of motherfuckers on court. Every man for themselves. Go
Yep.
hard, man.
That's nice.
Only thing, Bob, I didn't understand when we grew up playing 21. We played in one court. You know about how it was, how we
Yes,
played it.
we will.
It wasn't going full court. Then I think that we finally figured it out. We didn't do you didn't make your tournament yet. Then we started going full court. And of course, Bob used to get a lot of shit because he could dribble. He was doing all type of tricks.
Yeah. Give you a little space.
Throw
They
it
gotta
between
give
Bob.
you a little
Throw it
space
between
now.
Grizz leg. Throw it between Bob. I said, "Fuck you, Bob." Yeah. Oh, but that tournament was impressive, man. It's impressive. It's really
Thank you.
impressive.
Yeah, I
Man.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
That's
Anybody out
impressive.
there, go to fullcourt21nyc.com or on Instagram, TikTok, etc. Just FC21 All World to learn more information about it. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's very feel very connected to the players. All around the world. Made a lot of new friends.
It's funny. This hard for me. I gotta hear this answer. I know you've
Me
never
too,
been answering
yeah.
because you know too many people, and there's too many. Who is your greatest street ball player of all time? It's a great question. Ron produces the show, so he comes up with the questions. I looked at him, I said, "Oh man, this not gonna be easy." Bob knows so many good ball players. He don't want to insult nobody, but there's so many. So I just let do what you say, Bob.
Yeah,
I don't even have a great street ball all
that's
time.
a tough question to answer.
Yeah.
Particularly because of my age, right? So, I'm born in 1966, and so I got to see players in the 60s. I got to see players in the 70s. Then when I became like a full diehard fever, don't want to do anything else, ball player myself in the 80s, I got to play against people, play with people. Then in the 90s, continues the 2000s. So it's just come up with a favorite is very difficult.
3 of your favorites make it easier? 3 of your favorites.
I got favorites.
I mean, are you saying like
just
teammates or people I played against or just people I watched?
Just period. You street ball, you the man with the street ball. Who do you look at and you are like, wow, they got everything. They got everything.
You never have everything.
And they might not have made the NBA. They might. They probably didn't make the NBA.
It's tough. I would say, because there's a difference between best and favorite, right?
Favorite.
Like I can have a favorite because they were, they did tricks and they were, crowd pleasing and all that stuff. They may not be the best ball player. I don't know. It's dang, man, that's really a tough question. Really tough. One of my favorites certainly is a former teammate who I went on to actually do halftime shows with. His name is Jack Ryan, aka Black Jack. He's got a phenomenal story. He was 29 years old and got invited to try out for the Nets and was the last player cut. And this is before I even met him. So I'm hearing about his legend all throughout the 80s because we had a lot of mutual friends. And then in the 90s, we wanted to become teammates together in Starrett City, which Kirk Rodriguez and Tone Greer were on that same squad. And I kid you not, the first time I'm ever playing with Jack and Ron, like I'm telling you, I heard about him for 10 years before I'm meeting him in the early 90s, right? And we at Starrett City Pro-Am. And I'm like, yo, I heard this dude, almost made the NBA and, best shooter in New York and everything. So, I'm doing my point guard. I'm feeding him. First half, wet. 15-footer wet, 17-footer wet, 18-footer wet. He don't shoot deep. everything is like mid-range
Yeah,
and like
mid-range shooters and mid-range
you know,
shooter.
corner and like 15, 17, 18 feet. But wet. So we finished the half. He hasn't missed a shot. I kid you not. He has not missed a shot. And it's a close game. We playing a good squad. Second half. Okay. I don't need to shoot because this dude ain't missing. If I shoot, it might be 50%, 60% on a good day. But this dude is shooting 100%. So
that's ridiculous.
Calculate. What's the better shot?
Yeah,
I'm open. I don't care. I'm feeding. Yo, he shot 17 for 17 on the game. He had 34 points. We coming down into the final seconds. I don't know if Kirk and Tone remember this. We're coming down to the final seconds. It's a tie ball game. No, I'm sorry. We down by one. That's what happened. I wrote about this in my book, BOBBITO's book of B-Ball Bang Bang. We down by 1 point. I penetrate. I lose my man. In and out, crossover to the paint. I see Jack in the corner. Boop. I'm like, yo, he's 17 for 17. This is the game winner right here. Pump fakes, gets his man in the air. And what does he do? For the first time in the whole game, he dribbles to the hole to take a layup. And he misses. And we lose the game. The buzzer sounds. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? B?
Why he didn't shoot the ball?
Why just shoot the jump shot? B, you ain't miss.
He
finished the game 17 for 18. That's my introduction to Jack Ryan. And I can't make this up, B. This is fact. This is, I mean, I don't have the score sheet from that game, but that just gives you an idea of how great he was. He went on to be the national 3-point contest winner on ESPN City Slam in 2005.
Oh, wow.
You know, me and him wanted doing halftime shows with Ramon Rodriguez, who's now the lead actor on the film Will Trent on ABC, and also Kenny Rodriguez, who wound up becoming the Harlem Globetrotter. The four of us.
Oh, why every time we say from Puerto Rican, you got to put the accent the fuck out of here?
He
I
rolled
noticed
his
that
arms.
shit.
Ça passe, ma boule bien.
Even you did that
Come
shit
on,
in
B.
the BOBBITO show. Every time you say something, ratita.
Yo, I went to grammar school with your older sister. What do you want me to do, bro?
You did, though. That's a funny shit.
I did.
You
want me to show you the
class?
class
Bob know my older sister. That's some funny shit.
Wow.
Yo, that's how far back I go with Gary, B.
He know my older sister. He know Marie. Wow.
Marie, bien a mí.
Yeah, he know my older sister.
She
Bob,
snapped
you get
on
on my
me.
nerves.
Wow.
You totally
My
different.
sister-
I don't know what happened.
My sister is a very quiet, good. I always tell you, Ronnie, he's
Quiet.
a
You always tell
good
me,
person.
yes.
She don't
Yeah,
talk.
like
Yeah,
super
yeah.
cool. Like
It's quiet. She don't bother
nobody
nobody.
did a homework on time. Like the whole nine. Like
she
never
don't
got
play
in
that
trouble.
game.
Me,
Jack
I-
Ryan.
we went to
Yo,
practice,
Bob,
like,
hold
the-
up. So I'm gonna say
we
your
should
shit.
get the school
I'm a bias fan. My favorite ball players to play with, and not because they're my boys. I love playing with Greer. I love playing with Kirk. Not because Kirk was dunking on everybody. And Kirk had arrogancy like me. He don't play that shit. Fuck you. And Greer was just nice. And honestly, Bob, I'm my favorite ball player because I work hard. Rob, I love every bro. I know some ball players from David Kane, my friend. Guys are way better than me. But Bob, come on, Bob, you gotta give it. But I couldn't jump off the 1 and 2. I had to jump vertical, and I survived with guys like y'all, all y'all, and y'all respect me. So I felt like, man, I gotta love myself, man, and that's what I did. But I respect what you said, though.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, I could go on about favorite ball
Oh,
players.
no, Rob knows so many ball players.
You know, so many ball players. But I'll go with Jack. But the thing about Jack is that because he was such a good shooter, I had to sacrifice my own shots.
Yeah. And Bob a nut too, Rob. Bob shoot a lot.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't really my favorite ball player, my favorite teammate, and he wasn't a nut. It was just that
You a nut.
I was not a nut.
Nah, Bob, I play with you, shoot.
Nah.
He said you're a nut.
Bob, you put that ball up in there. Maybe you got older and became a nut. I don't know. The younger days, I just loved your game so much. Whatever you said goes. But when I came grown and I was getting good, I'm 30, you're 35. I said, Bob, do you pass the ball?
Nah,
Bob. Nah. I ain't going for that shit, Bob. Nah, Bob, you put that ball up. I don't care, though, because you came older and you was nice. You got bad. I respect you, Bob. But at times, I used to come to your Bob, hook me off at the post. This kid can't guard me. But when I asked for the ball, you gave it to me. I'll say that. When I asked you for the ball, you gave it to me. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, it's a funny story. And, I would say Tone Greer.
Bad motherfucker, boy.
I will put him in one of my favorite teammates.
No, he's tough. And he passed that ball.
A lot of
and he's a good
Tone
dude.
was a fantastic passer, an amazing rebounder. I think he led the EBC at 55th in rebounds one season or a couple of seasons. And this is, mind you, when pros are in there, Tone Greer was a phenomenal ball player.
Yeah, he can
But
play,
the
man.
reason why I love playing ball with Tone so much was that Tone would constantly say, when we played in the Sunday Basketball League at Westside High School, we took the chip.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah,
I
remember,
that.
right?
Yep.
So I would come back from Japan. I wrote about this in my book too, Bobbito's book of B-Ball Bong Bong. I'm gonna keep on mentioning it because it's a beautiful memoir.
Yeah.
Yo, I wrote about how I used to DJ in Japan, right? But because they were like 14 hours ahead, I would leave on Sunday and I would arrive on Sunday because of the time difference. And I would get back to my apartment. I would jump in a bath. I'd take a hot bath, to loosen up because I'd be jet lagged. And I'll ride my bicycle to Westside High for the game. And Tone will always be like, yo, Bob, show him you're not just a DJ. You're Bob. And then we used to play an Amber Bachelor's tournament. She used to do the annual like the giving homage to the 90s, and then we playing the Pasta Classic.
Bob, come on, I play every time you name it. I'm Ray D. I played all of them. I play Imposter State. I play every time you name it. I was bugging for a minute.
So I would have games where I would hit 7 threes, 8 threes. Every time I would hit, Tone would run back on the court and be like, "Yeah, Bob, let him know you're not just a DJ. Let him know you're trying to." So I love Tone for that, man.
Nah. I used to play, like I said, I played a lot of basketball with Bobbito. Great ball. I had good times with all y'all. You drove me crazy. Hey, we drove you. Kirk drove me, great. But we were winners, Bob. We love Bob. And I think if you remember this, Bob, when people started talking about them boys from 97th Street, them boys are ball players, man. They knew the kids could play. They knew about. They thought we were rich because of the buildings we lived in. They don't know what we went through. Yeah, we were ball players, man.
I was grateful when y'all finally because I was older than all y'all. When y'all, I wasn't down with y'all on Ray Diaz. But years later, you put me down.
Ron got him.
His computer's out.
Oh,
hello, get up.
He's got to get up.
His computer froze.
His computer froze.
Okay, it's all good.
It's all good. All right. So there's some more tough questions. These are the fun ones now. These are the fun questions. Rucker or Dykeman? It's rough. That's a rough question. That's
a very rough question. I don't think we need to choose because here's what it is. Dykeman in the last 30 years has really made a mark internationally on outdoor basketball. I mean, in a way that's kind of unparalleled, with the amount of attention that they've gotten with the Dominican community coming out there on Friday nights, with Kenny Stevens, doing it not just for the adults, because he had the Unlimited, but he from early on he was doing the high school division, which wound up getting a lot more attention in some cases or some nights than even the Unlimited. So Dykeman has done a phenomenal job, and when you think that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is from those projects.
And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is from those projects?
Is from Dykeman projects, and Mr. Couch, who used to have the Dykeman program, this is before the Dykeman tournament, there was the Dykeman squad that was in the Holcomb Rucker Youth Memorial. So there's a time, Mr. Couch was a person who taught Kareem Abdul-Jabbar the sky hook.
Wow.
And I believe that happened on Nagle Avenue on 4th Street, whatever, in that court. So that court has a ton of history, and Dykeman's done a phenomenal job to be like, a premier tournament in the world,
pushing the game forward, which is what you care about.
That said, Rucker Park is named after Mr. Holcomb Rucker. And a lot of people don't know who that is. Mr. Holcomb Rucker, in 1946, invented outdoor basketball in an organized context for youth in Harlem. Wow. It didn't exist prior to that. Wow. They had the Harlem YMCA tournament, and it was always in the winter. And if they did it in the summer, it was indoors. So Mr. Holcomb Rucker takes basketball outdoors, and then in the 50s, he adds the college and pro division. And now people are seeing the best players in the world for free up on 7th Ave and 127th Street. And so and back then they got triple park cars and, people on the fence and double park cars and whatever else. So it's like people think that all that started in the 70s, but no, that started in the 50s.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so that, I'll talk about that in my book as well. So it's, I mean, Dykeman is wonderful, and it may very well have the biggest crowds in New York for the last however many years. But it's like Dykeman doesn't happen without Rucker.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? Like without Mr. Holcomb Rucker in particular. And Rucker Park is named after Mr. Holcomb Rucker. So we got to pay homage where homage is
Mr. Holcomb Rucker.
Now, Greg Marius, who started the Entertainers Basketball Classic, didn't start it at Rucker Park. He started it at Mount Morris, which is now known as Marcus Garvey, in 1980. He took a year off, and then he started it again. Then he had it at 139th and Lenox. And then he eventually moved it to Rucker. And once they got to 55th, that's when all the the sort of legendary moments happened.
Oh yeah.
So if we compare Rucker and Dykeman, they're just two separate. It's like being like, apples and oranges. They're both nutritious for you, but apples have vitamin C and oranges have vitamin D or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like each got their vitamins that are essential to outdoor basketball. But that's
Rucker,
a good question.
That was good though that you explained that Rucker was first and Holcomb Rucker was the first to do it. I never knew that. And it gives you a different perspective. It makes you realize that Dykeman is the next step towards greatness. All of them together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're doing a phenomenal.
They're killing that.
They crushing it. They're crushing it.
My computer blanked out for a second, but I don't know what I do say. I think this 55th is the first, but I will admit now, I'm not no disrespect, but Dykeman took over. They told me this rocking and rolling, man. It's hardcore, and it's except for one time, there's rarely violence up there, and cars are triple parked up there. Yeah. It's understood by police in the Dykeman community. It is what it is.
Yep.
It is what it is.
I got to get my charger because I see my
battery. Yeah, me too. Go. Yeah, that's what I just did. Go.
I didn't know that.
You're that part that just went. We're gonna edit that. No, I'm telling you, no. All right.
Or not.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Whatever.
So you got your little props now, because I couldn't tell if you was nice like that.
I can play ball, man. I got rings under my belt, man. I just really wish I could see Greg play, because Greg's the truth, man. He's the truth.
Truth. Our Truth always talk about he can play ball.
Oh, I'm not saying he can't play. I'm not even gonna put him down. But to play with us, he was a baby though, man. We went through wars.
He's saying he can play now.
Well, now he got me. I could shoot a better bank shot than you. That's my best shot. That's my shot of all time. I'm not like a 3. I can shoot a 10-footer bank shot. Not side to side, but not the middle truth. Left and right, the angle of the basket. I your bank shots ridiculous. I'm mid-range guy. Mid-range? Yeah, that's I love the mid-range. Yeah.
I beat him a couple times.
Ron ain't shit.
I beat him a couple times.
Ron ain't shit.
I beat him a couple times in 21. Queens is known for playing ball. Could we get that?
Yeah, but y'all got ball. No. Yeah, y'all all right.
Could we get playing ball?
Y'all all right. Y'all for rapping. Y'all all right. Y'all got one of the best players of all time, Kenny Anderson, one of the best. I ain't gonna lie. It's one. What he talking about? So Bobbito, Ron's from Queens. So he said Queens got good ball play. And they all right, they got ball play. He got one of my best players of all time, Kenny Anderson. Bob Ron didn't see him play. Kenny was ridiculous, Bob. I never seen somebody play like that when I was growing up.
I mean, listen, Queens can contend because Bob Cousy's from Queens. Rayful Alston's from Queens.
Yeah. He's a trickery guy. I'm talking about ball players, Bob. Bob, you like tricks.
Queens.
Marcus
Anthony Mason is from Queens. I mean, we can go on and on. Queens got
Kenny was the truth. Bob, Kenny Anderson was the shit he was doing was ridiculous, man.
You loved it. You saw.
I saw Kenny. Bob saw Kenny, but I asked Bob how good Kenny was. But how good was Kenny Anderson?
There's 2 high school jerseys hanging in the Naismith Hall of Fame. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kenny Anderson, and that's it. That's
the
it.
Queens. The God. He was a God.
That's
Became
it.
a Bob. Remember that move he throws around his back? He catch it back and just that thing was just bad. He's bad. I don't know his NBA career wasn't that good, Bob. I don't know what happened. But that was a lot of people, Bob. Maybe you can answer that. Why
No.
when they get to NBA, they just not that good no more?
No. Let me stop you. Kenny Anderson had a solid NBA career. He made All-Star team.
Well,
He
one time
averaged
for him, solid's not good enough, Bob. For him, what we thought he was gonna be, Bob. What Kenny Anderson, what we thought he was gonna be.
Okay, so your expectations were high.
Yeah,
And I understand you expect him to be Jason Kidd or Gary Payton, like perennial All-Star, All-NBA
I don't
first
know
team
what
and all
happened,
that.
man.
But he had a good NBA career, bro.
You're right, Bob. It was solid. It wasn't like Chris Slayton was garbage in the NBA. So you can say that.
And it's not like he played one season and was out. Like he had his cup of tea for a while,
All right, well, I'm actually with Jordan, LeBron. We can't miss this one. Me, I don't like either one of them. So you got to answer that question.
You don't like either one of them?
After Jordan retired, I started liking him. When LeBron retires, I like him because I like him as a black man and as how he helps his crew out. But as a ball player, he's one of the biggest little girls I've ever seen in my life. Who handpicks his team? He's a little woman. So
I love to hear him talk sports. I love to hear him talk sports.
Little fucking woman. Go ahead, Bob. I'm gonna get frustrated.
I haven't followed the NBA in years.
You lying, Bob?
I was a halftime reporter for the New York Knicks in 06-07 season, and I got to see like a lot of games. I was at half court. I was sitting with Gus Johnson and Mike Breen, and
Gus is my man.
Come out do my halftime report. It was called Hot Minute to Half. Interview Patrick Ewing and interview Cameron, Fat Joe, Dan Marino, the quarterback. On and on. Darius Rucker. Interview some pretty famous people. But that was the last time I actually watched and paid like a lot of attention to the NBA. In my childhood, in the 80s, it was like a big deal to watch games, and in the 90s started getting into like being on the radio and traveling, so not so much. So I'm not the NBA expert. I'm probably not the best person to speak on it. I will say though that in my limited knowledge, I would go with Jordan over LeBron without even blinking an eye, because of the amount of defensive player of the years that Jordan got, because of the amount of rings that Jordan got, because of the amount of points that Jordan scored. If we factor in that he took 2 years off, if he hadn't taken those 2 years off, how great would he have been? He also won a chip in an NCAA, dominant in international competition. People forget, like, LeBron was on that squad in the 2004 Olympics that got spanked by Puerto Rico by 19 points. That was the biggest margin of defeat that the U.S. national team ever experienced. That didn't happen when Jordan was on the squad. I mean, just that's just one point. But there's a lot of people who be like, well, LeBron scored more points. Okay, cool. Well, LeBron, won this many chips and didn't have the same squad around him. I don't know.
And LeBron didn't call like Jordan doesn't do. He doesn't call guy. If you're in my team, we have a chance to bring the ring. He went around getting players. He's a little girl when it comes to basketball. Yeah, Bob. And matter of fact, so Bob, from what you see, you pick Jordan.
I would go with Jordan. Yeah.
And I picked Jordan too.
Yeah.
Wait, did Gary ever tell you the story about him and Dame Dash versus Rev Run and somebody else on the 2-on-2 in Rev Run's house? Yeah.
So Dave, Bob, Bob, I was drunk, and Bob, Dame Dash took shrooms, and Dame snapped on Reverend Run sneakers. He had a sneaker line. Somebody said, he's supposed to say shit. He said, I'll bust your ass, Dave. I'm gonna get my sneakers and bust your ass. You understand? He got his sneakers for. He put them on his feet. So Bob, Reverend Run didn't know I could play basketball. He thought I never played ball in my life. And Dame said, "Can you play?" Yeah, I'm all right. And Bob, you know what I did? I did the go-to move you told me. And Bob said, "Oh my God, we got a player. And Bob, Dame, who doesn't play ball, Bob, every time he shot, it went in. Dame, everything. So Dame's high laughing up. Yo, Bob, we destroyed Reverend Run, man. 16 to like 4. And he was so mad at us, Bob.
Is that cool? Is that a good basketball story? That's
man.
good.
In the Hamptons, Bob. In the
I
Hamptons,
love it.
man.
Word.
In the Hamptons, man. Yes, sir.
Bob, let me interject here because I do want to say, so the other day, because of my memoir, Bobbito's Book of B-Ball Bong Bong is being read by a lot of people. There's one dude hit me up from Harlem. He was like, "Yo, that's your chapters are bringing back a lot of memories from my childhood. I played against so and so." So he sends me a photo of Elizabeth Seton Junior College where he played, and he was teammates with Bob Burke. And I'm like,
rest in peace. That's my man.
Right, and I'm like, oh, Bobbalob and Biggs. I don't know Biggs' real name.
Yeah, Kareem Burke.
Kareem.
Yeah. And
their whole crew used to come to Ray Diaz and smack my squad. Like that whole, I don't know who else. I don't remember who else was on that squad. I remember Bobbalob and Biggs. They would smack our squad. Like we would blow us out by like 30 points. And then they would come to the GOAT and we would all snap for 2 hours. Right?
Oh, that was days, man. And Bob said, I was ready. I had my guns up. But Bob said, you're praying to yourself. Yeah, you're going to the store on purpose not to get picked on snap. And they start to see that. Hold up. You think you get away with something. Where the fuck you going? And it turns on you. And Bob, you're right. You like getting had, and you see it in your face. You see you getting killed, and you're mad. They cut your corner. You're like, oh my, you're getting destroyed. Bob, you're right, man. Those
we get late, but those dudes could snap. They could play ball,
and they play ball. Was a jack of all trades.
Yeah, I never got to know him that well, But,
that was my man. My man.
But that whole crew, I mean, when they became successful with the record label and everything else, I was like, same thing I said about you, Gary. Like I was never surprised because of your work ethic.
It's funny because Bob started to cut you when I know Jay-Z, but I had left my friend named Vito from Douglas, listen to him. So Bob, it's like they knew. As soon as my friend Vito, Bob, you know Vito, right?
Yeah.
From Douglas. He heard Jay-Z rhyme on a sample tape. He said that. He said, Bob, he's the next one. And Bob, look at it. Bob, did you feel that way about Jay? When you heard him, did you feel like he's the next one?
That's a good question.
That's a difficult question to ask me. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because I was on the radio for 12 years, right? Yeah. But the 8 years I did with Stretch, right? We had 300 unsigned artists come up to our radio station.
300?
Yeah, easily.
Raekwon wasn't signed yet? Big Pun wasn't signed yet?
Big Dog the Punisher when he came up to our radio show, unsigned.
Raekwon wasn't signed either, right?
When Mobb Deep came up to our radio show, they were called the Poetical Prophets, unsigned.
Fat Joe?
Unsigned.
Joe had a record deal when he came up to our show.
You introduced me to Nas, Bob. You don't remember that, but you just all through with George. You working with George. You used to take me to Columbia, and that's how I met Nas. Yeah.
I mean, it's a long list: Wu-Tang, Nas, Biggie.
Okay.
Mobb Deep, Eminem, on and on, right? So, it's a long list of people who came up to the radio show. And so when I'm coming back to your answer is that there were artists that came up to our show that was so talented that didn't get signed. Or they would wind up with a record deal and wouldn't sell. Yeah. So it was like a complete mystery. Like you couldn't predict it. And that was the draw of our show. Because like people would tune in and be like, yo, is that person going to be next person or not? Like it was like, well, they would hear them on our radio show, Big L, they would hear them on our radio show unsigned. And it was like that people had to like record because they didn't know if that was going to be the last time that they heard them because there was no guarantee that you could be as nice as whatever that you were going to get a record deal. And there was no guarantee that you got a record deal you were going to sell. Jay-Z, when he came to our radio show with Big L.
We put him there. Bob, not that be fun. Did we set that up? Bobby, Big L and Jay. I mean, me, you be my homie. Did I put that together? I really don't remember. I don't remember exactly that.
I don't think so because L came up to our radio show like maybe twice before that happened.
Then Jay came on his own, whatever way they did it.
Big L got discovered at Rock and Will on 25th.
Oh, okay.
That was a shop that used to sell a lot of mixtapes.
Okay.
And Lord Finesse heard him rhyming. And Lord Finesse put him on the Yes You May remix. And then, but L was unsigned, and I forgot. I don't remember.
You don't know how Jay-Z came. I don't need. I'm just trying to remember.
No, Big L brought Jay to the station.
Okay, that's what the action. Okay.
Big L also brought a cat named Murder Mace to the station.
I don't remember that. Yeah, come on now.
Mace, right? And he also brought a cat named Killer Cam to the station.
Okay.
Cameron. So L was kind of like an A&R who would just, we trusted him. Like if he said, "Yo, Stretch Bob, I want to bring up so and so to the station," be like, "Cool, like you good. We know you. We know that you're not gonna bring us any floppy disks." And I mean, as far as I know, if there was other things that happened to Jay coming up. But anyway, so my point is that when Big L and Jay-Z rhymed in '95, that famous 9-minute freestyle, I remember saying in my head, like, wow, this dude Jay is really cocky, bro.
Yeah. That's
that. Your boy Dame was really cocky as well.
Dame, man. Oh,
it's almost like they forecasted and brought into the universe their own destiny because they knew they were going to be successsuccessful. Like they forced it with their willpower, and I don't think every artist that came to the station had that type of fortitude, So did I know Jay was going to be successful? No, I didn't. Was I surprised by it? No, not one bit.
Because you just say they were that arrogant. There's nothing.
He had that sort of like that level of confidence that not a lot of MCs had that helped them in business, for sure.
So Bob, doing the Stretch and BOBBITO show, and how do you say the impact you put in hip hop out? How did it change live? How doing the documentary and having all those. How did this change? How did you get it done? Because that's a lot of work. That's a lot of artists. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we didn't have metrics in the 90s, right? We didn't know how many people were listening. Unsigned artists were coming through like Nas and Biggie and Wu, and then we were seeing 3 years later, 4 years later, now he's selling millions of records, and Cypress, Fugees, Jay-Z all had records out, but weren't really getting a lot of love. They came on to our radio show, and we kind of helped usher them to a larger audience.
Excuse me, I don't mean to cut you. I have to say this. He did say that. What's the lead rapper in Cypress Hill? The lead rap.
What is
Big Sin? Am I saying his name right?
Sin Dog and Be Real.
Sin Dog, I think it was Be Real. And they said if it wasn't for you, literally you and Stretch, they had nothing. Because they would all talk about us weed and being the junkies. And they said without y'all, they wouldn't have went nowhere. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What happened was that our show became sort of this, what people wanted, what Jay called us as gatekeepers in our film, Radio That Changed Lives. He called us gatekeepers, and that's kind of like the role that we played. And so people came to trust our sensibilities for who should be on a radio show and who shouldn't, right? So if they came through our doors, most times people be like, "Oh, wow, like Stretch and Bob co-signed them. Let me pay attention to them." And then that helped, the credibility and, and it'd be the starting gate, Then, the record labels and they own their shows and a lot of other factors and variables. It's not like it's just solely on us. I can't take all that credit. Cass was talented, they did their work. But when I was doing the film Radio That Changed Lives, it was on Showtime and Netflix.
We just watched it again. It was dope.
It was ill. I love it.
We just watched the whole thing. It's so
very
fire.
proud of that documentary. And I directed 3 films. A lot of people don't know the other 2 that I did. The first one was Doing It in the Park, Pick Up Basketball NYC, and my third film, which I felt was my best as a filmmaker, is titled Rock Rubber 45s. But the Stretch and BOBBITO Radio That Changed Lives, the reason why it was so revealing to me was because I had to do metrics. I had to create statistics, which we never had, right? And so I'm doing research, and I'm tallying up, like, how many records did Eminem sell? How many records did Jay-Z sell? How many records did Fuji sell? How many records did Cypress sell? How many records did Wu-Tang sell? Nas, Biggie, da-da-da. And I'm tallying, and, when I'm writing the description for the film for Showtime and Netflix, and, for streaming on YouTube and Vimeo and Amazon, whatever, I realized that we were responsible for this collective of artists selling in excess of 300 million records. That's in 2015. I don't know what the number is now, 10 years later, right? Because it's changed. You got all the streaming and people aren't buying physical records and stuff, but we helped launch a lot of careers that wound up becoming monumental. So it's very rewarding to think about. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been there and to have the wherewithal with Stretch to be like, yo, let's put people on, because we didn't have to. We could just play dope music and not have guests, but we had guests, and those guests wound up. Or we could have just put music that was already out. We were like, nah, we got this demo, we got this dat, we got this unreleased remix. We would just play whatever. I used to play when Stretch was running late, or if he couldn't make the show, I used to play the Fantastic versus Romantic, live recording from '81. I used to play the Mastodon Committee. I was playing all these live shows, because I couldn't DJ, so I was just playing old cassettes. Cool Mo D versus Busy Bee battle. But for people in the '90s that didn't grow up with it, it was like the first time they were hearing it, because these records, I mean, they weren't sold as records, right? They were just tapes that you got dubs of, in the hood. So it's like me and Stretch didn't just help out the '90s artists. We helped revive artists from the '80s, and put them on the map for a whole new generation. I felt like it was a duty back then. I really did. It
I
was like
believe
my
you too.
responsibility.
Somebody else said that to me. I would say the bullshit is saying for the camera, but I know you. I grew up with you, so I kind of know you really meant that. This is your duty. Yeah,
Oh,
that's how
yeah,
you feel about my. You really mean that. He really means that, people. That's his duty.
Yeah, nah, like I loved hip hop. I loved hip hop, so I felt like, yo, like whatever I could do to help people out, that's what I'm gonna do. And it wasn't just a radio show. I was a columnist at Rap Pages. I was contributing to Source Magazine. I had a column with Vibe Magazine. I was doing unsigned artist showcases with the Lyricist Lounge, at the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I had my shop, Footwork, from '96 to 2000. I was selling indie 12 inches there. Like I was like kind of like I had my hands in so many, in so many pockets to help people out. Like if you were unsigned or you were independent artist, like if I liked you, like that was a push that you needed, So, but that was then. That's not my role now. It hasn't been my role in 25 years. But for the '90s, I was happy to,
I got
a story. You do that one.
I got a before this. I got a personal one. I'll tell you about your impact. I know you hear this a lot. When I was young, I was a different guy. I was getting in trouble in the '90s. I heard about you. I heard about your show in Rikers Island.
Yeah.
Everybody. We had these Walkmans. I know you heard the story. We had these Walkmans. You had these headphones. You can't hear it. You take the headphone apart. There's a magnet in there. You take the wire out of here. You attach the wire to the headphone. You take the magnet. You attach it to the thing, and you're listening. And I remember the first time I heard Party and Bullshit.
Word.
And I remember I was like, what was that? No, I got to wait till Thursday to hear it again.
Yeah.
So I had to wait. But your impact when I was a young man on the jails, if you weren't there, you wouldn't understand it. And thank God you weren't.
Yeah.
But when I tell you, everybody in all those cells and all those dorms couldn't wait because we would get the new music. You get to hear what the streets hear, not the commercial stuff that we were dubbing and all that. You get to hear what was new.
Yeah.
And so I just want to thank you for that. It's a little moment. I'm telling you, that's why the whole basketball thing, I'm like, all right, we love basketball, but you're my hip hop guy. You guys are my hip hop.
Right. No, I appreciate that. And you're not the first person to share that with me. And something as a director and producer of the film Stretch and BOBBITO Ready to Change Lives that I touched upon as well. And it was important to me in that I wanted to tell the story of me and Stretch. I wanted to tell the story of the artists that came through our doors, and I wanted to tell the story of our audience. Because to me, that was on equal plane of importance. And I say this all the time. Our first audience was the incarcerated population of the tri-state. And it wasn't just Rikers. There was the Tombs down in Lower Manhattan. There was Patterson County
Queen's
Jail,
house.
Passaic County Jail, Rawway.
Right.
It's like I wasn't involved in that world, but by virtue of doing a radio show, now I know every prison, every jail, that's within our signal because they writing letters, and I encouraged it, and I used to read the letters online. I mean, on air, because I would tell people like, yo, you can't call in. You're in your cell. I understand. Write a letter and I'll read it. And I would, I wouldn't do it like in the first 2 hours. I would do it later. But I would be like, yo, JDL, who was a member of the Cold Crush Brothers, he started writing like on a regular. He'd be like, yo, shout out to Easy AD, Grandmaster Cass, Tone, and Charlie Chase, my fellow members of the Cold Crush Brothers, and I was, shouting him. Oh, he says what's up to his wisdom, and and that endeared that whole population to our radio show because they felt seen, and that's always the type of person that I've been. It's like I don't care that you like me and Stretch didn't care if you were unsigned or signed. You nice, you're gonna get on the mic. I don't care if you inside or if you out. You want to shout somebody out, I'm gonna try my best to give you an equal opportunity to that. And so, people writing letters, and then all of y'all became all evangelists. Because when all of you got out or when you had visits, you would tell the whole world, yo, Stretch and Bob, Stretch and Bob, Stretch and Bob.
That's a fact.
And that's how the ripple effect started.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the ripple effect started, So
It
I'm
was
forever
dope,
grateful.
period.
I've been to Rikers Island 3 times in my life. I did basketball visits there. I played in basketball games against inmates. And then one time I spoke to a high school class there. And I always felt like, again, it was like my duty to give back, because, without Rikers, I mean, maybe me and Stretch would have eventually, caught, but y'all helped us out the gate. Like, pew, out the gate, be like, now the whole city knows about us because of Rikers.
Oh, that's a fact.
Real talk. Real talk.
I seen as you being my man, Saran asked one of these questions. He asked me, "What's the biggest lesson I got from you so far?"
The thing was, y'all both like now you grew up so long together as brothers. Like now, what was like the biggest lesson? Probably you, Gary, and you, Bobbito, probably would have for somebody right now. All y'all years of experience around all these accredited people, being popular people yourselves, all your experiences. Give me one good thing, maybe even for the kids, or just a lesson that you learned that we could take with us in all these years. Good one.
That's a tough one. But here, hold on. So this is my book.
All right. That's right.
Bobbito's book of B-Ball Bong Bong. And in it, I wrote about the most impactful moment in my career, which was playing ball at the GOAT in 1987. I had been cut from my college basketball team, D3, 3 years in a row, right? I didn't let it affect my love for the game. I kept on playing, kept on trying to get better. And Ray Diaz, who ran the tournament that Gary and I both played in, saw me playing one day and I was on fire. And the brother said, "Bob, you ready? I'm going to make a call on your behalf to send you to Puerto Rico, to your homeland, to play professionally," right? So I got scouted on the asphalt.
Wow.
Right? Now, had I let my college coach burn out my love because he kept on cutting me and I quit the game or whatever, what would have not happened? I wouldn't have had that opportunity. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to eventually work for Nike. And I mean, I didn't work for Nike, but I've done sneaker designs for Nike, collaborations, done appearances, on and on and on. I mean, not just that, but I've done other collabs with sneaker brands. I've had this whole basketball career. But if I let that one person douse my flame, none of this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got my job at Def Jam if it wasn't for basketball.
What you did at Def Jam, Bob? I never knew what you did at Def Jam. What did you do there?
I started out as a messenger.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay.
And then I became A&R representative as well as a promotions manager.
That's after you. That's a graduate from Wesleyan, right?
After I graduated from Wesleyan University, yes.
Wow.
So, but I get my job at Def Jam through basketball contacts. So I owe my whole life to basketball. I don't get on radio if it ain't for basketball.
Okay.
You understand? So I say all this in terms of the lesson is that, like, when you feel that something is your destiny and you're passionate about it, you may not get what your vision is for, but don't let it unsettle deter you. Yeah, right. Because there could be other things that come out of it that are even more beautiful, So, I mean, there's certain things that we do in life. You have a partner, it's not working out, you're trying to make it work. Maybe the universe is telling you that move on. And sometimes we need to move on, let people be in peace, or maybe it's a job that ain't working out, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to something like your culture, and your love, like for like basketball, nah, I'm still here, age 59, trying to be the best ball player I could be. And I'm grateful that I never gave up on myself,
So let's talk about the Source best hip hop radio show of all time. 89.9 Tech 9. Did you know back in the days when you were breaking all those artists that it was going to have the impact it was today? Were you in there like, yo, this is going to be something one day?
No. Like I said earlier, there was no way to know because there were so many artists who came through that never got signed, that were stupid nice. Raggedy Man, Tone the Butcher. OC wound up getting signed. I thought OC was going to be like a multi-platinum artist,
Yo, Bob, sorry to cut you off because I'm going to forget. Who's that guy who signed Old Dirty Bag? He looked like Scott Storch. Who is he?
Dante Ross.
Who?
Dante Ross.
Oh, that's Dante? He don't look like Dante. Okay. Ron. Sorry, Ron.
Yeah,
Dante Ross. Yo, he looked like Scott Storch for a minute. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but there was no way to know back then because there was no precedent. It wasn't like artists were going platinum left and right like that. You had your LL Cool J, the Public Enemies, BC Boys that were like, huge Run DMCs, but it was like a handful. Most people just sold 200,000 copies. If you were lucky, you went, think about EBMD when it said 30 days later, the LP went gold. So what you saying, selling 500,000 records was like a big deal, but we get to the mid 90s and all of a sudden, like the mark of success is it's like now it's just like not 1 million. Biggie sells 10 million. It's like the first artist to sell 10 million. It's like, whoa, like where are we going? Eminem sells 75 million. It's like, whoa, where are we going? Like, there's no turning back. So, no, there was no way to know back then. No way to know.
I was shocked when you had BOBBITO when you had Eminem talking on your behalf. That dude, man, I tell them they get mad, but they say don't talk about shit. He's one of my favorite MCs, and I might say top 5, may went too far. Definitely top 10, Bob. And I'm telling you this story about Ron Little story. I was in Soul Sauce War. So Cornelius, the guy who ran radio, Soul Train. Him and Dame had an argument. Because Don Cornelius told Dame he got to get out. He threw David out. So then he comes up to me, Eminem, asks me, can I help him get Jay-Z autograph? So Bob, I'm looking left and I'm looking right. I said, do you think you know though they're Eminem? That people are, what are you talking about? Without Jay-Z, there's no Eminem. He broke the door wide open for me, man. He really wanted it, and he got it. It was amazing. That dude is humble, man. He asked for Jay-Z's autograph when Eminem was up. He was that dude. I ain't gonna say Jay-Z dude, whatever you want to call it. Eminem was the dude, because we all know Eminem sold more records than Jay-Z. Yeah, and he always says that too. That people want to say, I'm the great white hope. Let's not, all my friends are black, but he sold records. He wanted Jay-Z's autograph, Bob. That was crazy to me.
That's dope. That's dope.
Wrong. So right now, I know you're gonna say you're out the loop, but I hope you're in the loop. who's your favorite rapper right now of this era?
Gotta be one person that you heard that
This
you were
era.
like, that's
This era,
pretty
Rob.
cool.
Because I know
Just
you're gonna say that you're not in the loop, but out the loop. This right now.
I'm not in the loop. I can't say.
I know he's gonna say. I knew he's gonna say. I told you. I knew you're gonna be out the loop, Bob.
I can't say. I mean, you know, I lived a beautiful era of hip hop. You know, starting in the 70s. You know, as a preteen, and you know, going through the 80s and hearing all the amazing songs, and you know, seeing the graffiti on the trains, and I mean, I was seeing, you know, writers, you know, bomb, you know, whole cars in the 70s, and you know, and then the 90s was phenomenal to experience, you know, when hip hop becomes, in terms of the music, you know, the production becomes more sophisticated and rhymes, you know, keep on elevating. But, you know, the last 25 years, I haven't really paid much mind to it, to be honest, you know.
I don't listen to rap no more, so I kind of get it. But what I'm doing, my world that I love so much, I listen to a little something. Ron does that, but I get it, Rob. Rap songs right now, Bob. Be happy you're out the loop because they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad.
No. We're not gonna do that to BOBBITO. No, not him. You have to be more selective. You gotta dig. It's like crate digging.
Yeah, no, I mean,
everything's not good.
Right. I mean, that was the same in any era.
Yeah.
There was in any era you go to, there were cats that weren't that good, and you had to dig for the flyest shit.
You gotta dig for the flyest shit.
I don't have the time to dig anymore. I don't have the will to dig, you know. I mean,
it's hard for me because
when people listen to our radio show, Ron, they had to stay up from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. That took a lot of effort.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot.
Right? It's a lot of work. It's not the ideal time slot. It's when people are sleeping, right? And so I made that commitment, right? I don't have to make that commitment anymore. I did it for 12 years. I gave my service to the community, you know, by doing that radio show. I don't have to do that anymore, you know. So, you know, people send me music nowadays. I'm like, yo, I'm just unavailable to listen because I have limited time online, and you know, it's 10, 15 artists send me their music a week. You know, that's 5 minutes of every song. That's, you know, it's like 3-4 hours. I don't have that time to listen. So, and it's okay. I don't have to be. I passed the torch years, you know, decades ago. Like somebody else could do that. You know, I don't. It's not my role anymore. It's not my responsibility anymore. You know.
Oh, I get it. Just a little fan down on the hip hop old school show. So
nah, all good. All good.
Yo, what song you broke? You knew was gonna be out of here, and when it broke, you was like, "Yeah, I did it. We did it." When you was on the radio.
I mean, that's hard to say because it's
not hard. I can name a couple. I know you broke.
I think the song that resonates with me most was "Protect Your Neck" by Wu-Tang.
93.
Yeah, and the reason why, I played it in 1992.
Oh, okay.
I was given a white label test pressing. For the younger kids who don't know, that's like when before a record is pressed up with, you know, label copy and, you know, the label and, you know, the record label and the artist name and the song title and the publishing and all. I just had a white label that the Wu dropped off by hand in December of 92. And to my knowledge, I was the first station. We were the first station to play it in New York. There were other college stations that had played it in other regions. So, you know, that was like a big deal. And I knew that record was going to pop off from the moment I played it. And Stretch was the DJ. I was the host, but Stretch wasn't there that night. So I had to play records. And so I just happened to be the first person in New York to play Wu-Tang. That's a big deal, you know, to hold, you know, to kind of like, you know, tap myself on the back for. But yeah, and the phone's lit up as soon as I played it. Yo, what is that? What is that? You know,
what's the best freestyle you heard on the show?
The best freestyle session you ever been in or been a part of? Like you was like, oh, they going at it. Ooh.
I mean, that's in the film. So I'm gonna encourage people to download, stream, rent, Stretch and BOBBITO, Radio to Change Lives. You know, because all the best moments on our show, most dear to me and Stretch, are in the film. But we, you know, there was the moment with Large Professor with the SP 1200.
Oh yeah.
With Cool
that was hot. That was hot.
OC, and Large and Pharoah Monch rhyming. Then of course there's the Big LJZ, and then there's Nas rhyming 4 or 5 months before his album comes out, his debut, Illmatic. That was a special one. But there's a lot of special moments in the 12-year history, you know.
But how did you get a Hot 91, Hot 97, and how did it end? How did it end?
That's in the film as well. I don't want to regurgitate stuff that people could. I rather.
Oh, okay.
I'm starting to run low on energy. I haven't eaten lunch.
Oh man.
And I'm 59 and I haven't drank water today.
All right, I'm gonna do this. All right. No. So you said that. I'm glad you said that. Perfect. Let me accept that. This is important to me because you're both homies. Of course, you were really close to me, but you introduced me to Stretch. What went wrong with you and Stretch, Bob? Why you just started going odds and ends with when you were doing the show Stretch and BOBBITO show?
Tell them what we thought.
Well,
why we thought.
I thought, honestly, was Bob, I'm gonna keep it real with you. You're my man. I never got to lie to you. You was Tribe Called Quest, that type of bullshit music, and Stretch was into the ghetto, strong, protect your neck, let's get it music. You was on some bougie ass hip hop.
You were De La Soul,
yeah,
and he was MOP.
Like,
you were
like, fuck out of here.
Quest, and you know what I'm saying, like that.
Nah, I mean, you know, Stretch and I had sorry, let me turn this off. Apologies. Stretch and I had our differences, but they weren't just musical. I mean, we were having challenges as friends, you know, in communication, and some of it played out in passive aggressive behavior that we were both at fault of, and yeah, I mean, that happens in relationships. You know, there's a lot of hip hop groups from the 80s and 90s that didn't last. You know, the fact that we were able to rock for 8 years is kind of incredible because we can go through a laundry list of groups that didn't even make, you know, 2 years or 3 years together. You know, we were roommates at one point. You know, I was friends with you know, his parents, his aunt. You know, I mean, it Stretch's family for life. You know, still to this day, I'm cool with his daughter. He's cool with my son. You know, so you know, we had that little era where we just weren't seeing eye to eye.
Everybody outgrows each other, friends. I'm not naming names. I don't insult nobody. I love my friend, but I agree with you, Bob. I have a way of thinking now. I outgrew a lot of people, so I know how you feel, Bob. I'm not saying that to you.
Yeah, I think in our case, I don't think it was that one of us was outgrowing the other. I think it was just we were having communication issues that eventually got resolved. You know, unfortunately, because we were public figures, our issues were aired out live on the station. You know, and it hurt a lot of people because, you know, for those, like for you saying, Ron, like for those incarcerated, like they got through their bid by having something to look forward to, like our show on Thursdays. And so when we stopped doing it together, it was like, like, you know, now what else is going to give me that light, you know, to get through my months.
Back to listening to BLS again. No.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, it was a tough time, but we got through it. You know,
I see your homies now. You're chilling.
We united, reconnected, and you know, and that's all in the past. You know, he's evolved, I've evolved, and that's where it's at. You know?
What's your best moment of the moment of your hip hop career? I know that's a lot to ask.
Most memorable moment.
Yeah, I know that's a lot to ask, Bob. But you give me one. So I see your face is starting to get pale, and if you pass out on my show, I don't want to catch a charge. But I'm pushing. I need about 15 more minutes of your time.
You're going through.
I would say the 80s.
I was just getting into hip hop. I gotta go with you.
Oh, that's Rakim.
Yeah, Rakim.
That's a good one. That's my favorite.
I would say the 80s because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, the golden era, but the golden era is really determined by your age. You know, and anytime someone says, oh, the golden era, I'm like, you're probably born in the late 70s or early 80s.
Early 70s.
But if you didn't experience the 80s, how can you say if you qualify and say you're my golden era, you know, but people be like the golden era, and I'm like, nah, be like, as someone who lived all the eras, you know, I would go with the 80s, and not just for music. I mean, in terms of like, you know, still seeing, you know, train cars, with top to bottom, whole cars. It's like the whole culture, was still vibrant. That the whole culture that started in the 70s was still vibrant in the early 80s. There was a lot of newness to it, and a lot of edge. Like you talked to me about like what's my favorite current artist. Like I feel like rap has lost its edge, but in the 80s, like it was still very edgy, and to be part of it was risky, because you couldn't just experience it in a passive way. You had to go to the jam, you had to go to the club, you had to go to the party,
rough
you had to go to
times.
someone's crib, like, and depending on the neighborhood or depending on the the moment, like stuff popped off. I mean, Gary, you were probably with us that night where the shootout was when George had performed at the Village Gate, and
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Yeah,
and we were all at the entrance and ducking underneath the table where the dude took the woman took the money. I mean,
I remember that day.
Right. So there were things that we all kind of. I don't want to relive.
I don't either, and I'm glad, Bob. I forgot about that shit, Bob. I'm sorry about that, man. Because I swear to God, I went home and said I ain't going out no more, man. Bob, we could have got killed that night, Bob. It had nothing to do with us.
I had a lot of nights like that where I was on the mic.
I had about two. I can see that.
At wetlands and cats is popping off in the crowd, and then the fight goes from the crowd onto the stage, and I'm like behind the turntables, like get on the mic, yo, please chill, security.
I'm laughing, Bob. I'm not trying to laugh at you because I can see you doing that. People pulling guns out trying to kill son, and you trying to peace instead of just ducking. You're trying. Yeah.
I mean, so I don't miss those days, and but anyway, so but negative part aside, like I experienced hip hop in a very pure way in the 80s, and then in the 90s I started working at Def Jam, which was a two-sided coin, because now I'm like behind the scenes, but I'm also seeing like the dirty side of the business too, the industry, like, and the under the table payments and and all that other stuff, and it's just like, oh wait, nah, like I'm just here for the purity of it, I love the culture. I'm not here for all this extra stuff. So,
so I know you don't there, but you're gonna answer this is big. What do you think about Diddy story, real quick, little 2 minute? What do you think about him? His case, how it turned out?
I have nothing to say. I don't pay any mind to that.
I know you. I knew that, Bob. But this is my thing. Here. I got two more big questions. Bob, I know you for years. I never knew you was into DJing like that. I swear, literally, never. Still to this day, I'm just starting Bob DJing. I know basketball. I know sneakers. I know everything.
Little graffiti.
Do you still?
No, I never did graffiti.
You danced though. You danced a little bit. I saw.
I have danced.
And Bob, you're kind of like me. We have rhythm, but your dance makes no sense. My dancing makes no sense, but people laughed at us and they liked it. Yeah.
I was like a clown dancer,
Yeah. So Bob, what do you have like? So say none of my DJing. Explain that to me 2 minutes, Bob. I never knew about your DJing, man. Like really, when you took it serious, did you get good?
I don't know. Still DJ. That was
I haven't done an in-person appearance or travel in 5 years because of family responsibilities. That's why I'm doing this interview remotely. But I DJ on twitch.tv/coolboblove. And have a tremendous global following there. In my prior to the ongoing pandemic starting in 2020, I mean I DJed in like 47, 48 countries around the world.
Are you good, Bob? I don't mean Bob, I'm not even fronting, Bob.
No, Gary. I'm a much more skilled ball player than I was a DJ.
It makes now. All right, thank you. I understand the comparison.
But a lot of people booked me, and a lot of dancers came out to hear me spin because I love music and I understand how to make people dance to music that they don't know. And that was my sort of my draw, right? Because I'm not gonna, Rock Raider, rest in peace. I wasn't going to scratch like Raider,
Okay.
Stretch could do the long blends, and Stretch has, 60, 70,000 records. I don't have that. But what I did have was this knack for playing album cuts and B-sides, similar to like what we did with the radio show, but with soul and jazz and Latin music and African music and, and funk and rock and ballads. And I would play all these different types of genres. And I play all this music that people didn't know. And I knew how to blend well enough to make them connected. And people would get this new experience basically, and when they would come hear me play, because they weren't hearing the songs I was playing on the radio, and they wasn't hearing other DJs play it, right? So it became like this unique experience. You come hear me spin, you're gonna hear some joints that you just don't never heard. So people come up, yo, what record is that? People, writing down the records, and so that was how I became known globally as a DJ, Gary.
So BOBBITO, aka the B-side king. BOBBITO, aka the B-side king.
I always call myself a king, but I just.
Well, I called you that. You my man. I don't care.
Yeah. But I did very successful parties.
All right, Bob.
I did a 9-year residency at a spot called APT that was legendary.
Okay.
I also started a party with DJ Spinner called Wonderful, which was a tribute to Stevie Wonder's compositions, covers, and we did that, in Japan and the Bay Area, LA, and Philadelphia, DC, and we traveled with it all around the world. We did it for 10 years. That's another legendary party. So I've done legendary parties.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people would call me a legendary DJ.
Okay.
Perhaps, but that I'll let the community decide that. But I put in my work.
Bob, I ain't even going front. I got to ask that, and I'm gonna go to 2-for-1 question. Clark Kent, man. I'm gonna go Clark, then his sneaker king. That's I'm gonna go to your sneakers. I love your sneaker game, but Clark Kent, yeah, please, Ron, stay out of sneakers.
No, you stay out of sneakers.
Stay out this shit right here. You don't understand. I grew up with Kirk.
Sneakers are like a one to him now.
Ask Bob Kirk. Ask Bob what he think about Kirk. But Kirk is known as the best dresser of all, and other people agree with that. All right, go ahead, Bob. Get some on nerves.
Well, Bob, let it go.
I don't understand what
I'm sorry. My question is you. Would you have to rest in peace, Clark Kent? I love Clark Kent. He was a friend of mine. He worked at Rockefeller. He was a head A&R at one point. He put me onto a lot of sneakers. I like sneakers before him, but do you have a quick story of DJ Clark Kent, or you didn't have a big history with Clark? That's what I'm asking.
I have a long history with Clark. I mean, a very long history with him. In fact, the first, relating it to DJing, the first big venue I ever did was Club Vinyl on Hudson Street, and on that bill was Clark Kent, Louis Vega, and Rock Raider. Wow. And me and Raider were in the side room together, and Clark Kent and Louis Vega were in the main room, because it had like different areas. But Clark and I remember seeing him DJ at Mars. In my early years of going out to clubs, and we became dear friends even back in the 90s. Just me being appreciative of him as a club DJ, and also giving him records when I started working at Def Jam. But when it came to sneakers and stuff, like he was, rest in peace, he was a absolute king. And not only did he know what sneakers to buy, he knew how to wear them, and I think that's what kind of separates him from a lot of the other people in his realm, where by they would have enough money to get that exclusive whatever, but they didn't know how to dip it up the way
that's what's going on. I'm glad you said that, Bob, because a lot of people do have sneakers, but Bob, you wasn't in this app knowing how to wear them.
You knew how to wear them, but you also know how to design them too, because he did some collaborations with Nike and with other brands, and he knew how to make his ideas to come out with a dope pair of sneakers will fly as well. So he's one of a kind. That I love Clark. I miss him.
Rest in peace. That was my boy right there.
I spoke to him 2 weeks before he passed, and very memorable friendship. Super ridiculously supportive of me. I was shitting in my pants the first time I DJed with him.
Oh yeah, Bob. Oh no. Ron has been there. Bob's been there. Going to Clark Kent party. You want to go there for 2? He plays crazy blends. And the parties is just not just regular people in there. You're rocking. You're rocking.
So I DJ'd that time in '96, I think, at Club Vinyl, but we weren't in the same room. We shared the same turntables. We were at Sneaker Nest, which was an event in Europe together. We got booked. think it was in Zurich or Switzerland or Belgium. I forget where. But yeah, I had to share the turntables with him, and we went 2 records for 2 records, and I was so nervous. But he showed me so much love, and he was like, "Yeah." Very few people call me Bobby. You know, you gotta know me for the '70s and '80s to call me Bobby. He would call me Bobby. Yo, Bobby, you know, yo, you crush it. And he gave me so much encouragement, and coming from him, this is a dude who taught Scratch and Daddy Rich and all these legendary DJs how to, you know, he had the Superman, and you know, he led the battle for world supremacy at the New Music Seminar. You know, he was Dana Dane's DJ. I mean, you know, he was tour DJ for Jay-Z. I mean, you know, Clark had so many hats. You know, he helped Biggie out early in his career. I mean,
now, but all right. Now that's official. I just definitely really knew you was a DJ. But there's the key thing. I got better now. I'm Rob. I'm the king. What makes you lose the culture of sneakers? That you don't really like the game no more. I'm laughing because I destroy Ron. I destroy Ron the sneakers. I don't buy a lot, Bob. But when I buy, I buy. All right, I fronted on you already.
Yeah, it's not true. I do the good picks. Doesn't have to be expensive all the time. We like the old school. But I wasn't that surprised to hear that you had a little less love for the sneaker game. But I wanted to know why you kind of have less love for the sneaker game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've done a lot for that culture. You know, I was the first person to ever document sneaker culture in media history when I wrote the article for The Source in 1991 called Confessions of a Sneaker Addict. And then I wrote the first book on sneaker culture, Where'd You Get Those? New York City Sneaker Culture, 1960, 1987, which got released in 2003. I opened up the first modern sneaker boutique, Footwork, back in 1996, 4 years before A-Life. You know, I have a lot of marks. I hosted the first TV series in media history called It's the Shoes on ESPN. So I did a lot in sneakers, you know.
So you got tired. Not in a bad way. You burnt yourself out, Bob.
Tired of it. It's just like my perspective changed. You know, when I started traveling the world, going to you know, areas that didn't have a lot of resources, seeing kids, you know, play ball in bare feet.
You know, I got involved in spend all that money on sneakers, and these kids ain't got shit. Yeah,
I got involved in a lot of nonprofit work. You know, donating sneakers, and so you know, and you know, listen, I get it. You know, if you have the means, and you know, and you have the wherewithal to you know, to spend money on sneakers, cool, then go for it. But it's just again, it's kind of like the same thing with rap music. It just, for me, it just lost its edge. And I like being an edge, even at age 59, I like being an edgy dude. I like doing things that feel counterculture, you know, and I felt like rap and sneaker collecting, or sneaker, you know, being fresh with your sneakers, just got so mainstream. It just kind of like doused the flame. But also you got to understand, like, I don't live in New York right now. I'm not doing any in-person appearances, and I'm traveling, you know. So when I was on the block on 97th Street, going to the bodega, if I had some bummy sneakers on, I knew that Gary, Kirk, Tone, George, Cotty, you know, Eric McCartney, everyone's going to snap on me. So to avoid that, you made sure you had some Where I live now, like, nobody's going to snap on me if I walk down the block and I don't have the freshest out the box kicks on. So it's like your perspective, the importance of it, you know, it's just kind of changes. You know?
Still got them, Bob, in storage? I know you don't. You got them.
He probably gave them away.
Listen, I let go all my sneakers. I got like four pairs, 5 pairs right now. I got 1 pair to run in. I got 1 pair to ball in, and I got like 3 sneakers just in case if I need to, you know, make an appearance that people gonna see my feet. But you know, yeah, I mean, that's, other than that, it has no importance to me.
Bob, I'm playing. I'm front. I'm running too. Bob, I'm 55. I'm not spending a lot of money. The most you're gonna get me is 150. It's a lot to do. My daughter's in college, and I appreciate just being here and being sick and be able to, like, you're my buddy. Ron's my friend. So I will say this. I thank you for doing this interview for me. I love you more than the world. I appreciate you. My friend Scott the Truth. You want to say hi, Scott? Come say hi to Scott.
Come on, Scott. Scott the Truth.
He's a pastor.
Okay, what else, Scott?
Yeah, Scott's our boy.
And we appreciate you. So I know I know you don't do this to everybody, but we thank you. We didn't really get the snap. I'm gonna catch you soon, Rob. I'm gonna heat your ass up. You lucky I couldn't get you today. I want you to eat because you're gonna die, Count Dracula. I don't want you pass out over here. Yo, Bob Cersei, I love you. And
I love you
see
too,
y'all
Gary.
soon, man. Holla.
Yo,
Thank you, Bob, man. You're a
All right.
legend. You a legend,
You're a legend,
brother.
and I love you, bro. We'll talk,
You're
all
a
right?
legend.
We're gonna talk about you teaching me how to do these books I'm trying to get into. But I got about a year or two to go. I gotta get the pockets down packed.
All right. Later.
Peace, Bob.
Peace.
All right.
That was dope.